Your soulmate noticed your dress. Then said this about you in front of their friends. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because the universe didn't bring you here by accident, it guided you here at this exact moment for a reason, and listen closely, that moment when you chose that outfit, when you stepped out the door feeling a little different, a little stronger, a little more you. It wasn't random, it was alignment. It was your energy speaking before your mouth ever opened. And don't scroll, because your soulmate didn't just see fabric and color, they felt your presence, they felt your glow, they felt the shift in your vibration, and your heart needs this right now because you've been changing quietly, healing silently, growing without applause. And listen to this, that growth showed up on you like a spotlight, and when they saw you, something inside them stopped, paused, and stirred in a way they weren't expecting. And don't scroll, because while you walked past them like it was just another day, inside their chest something moved, something remembered, something awakened, and your heart needs this right now because you've been wondering if you're still seen, if you still matter, if your presence still has impact. And listen to this, it does, more than you realize, more than they've admitted, more than they've shown. And don't scroll, because after that moment, when they were standing with their friends, when laughter and noise filled the air, your name entered the conversation, your energy entered the room again, and your heart needs this right now because what they said wasn't shallow, it wasn't careless, it wasn't about looks alone, it carried emotion, admiration, and something deeper that surprised even them. And listen closely, they didn't just say you looked good, they spoke about how different you felt, how confident you appeared, how something about you stood out in a way that couldn't be explained. And don't scroll, because when someone talks about your energy behind your back, that's truth revealing itself, and your heart needs this right now because the universe has been giving you signs lately, repeating numbers, random reminders, sudden thoughts about this person, emotional waves that came out of nowhere. And listen to this, those were signals preparing you for this moment, aligning timelines, syncing emotions, guiding this subtle but powerful exchange. And don't scroll, because angel numbers like 11, 222, and 55 are connected to recognition, awakening, and emotional shifts, and if you've been seeing them, this moment is part of that message, and your heart needs this right now because your soulmate has been feeling the distance between who you were and who you are becoming, and that difference has been pulling at them, making them reflect on their choices, their silence, their hesitation. And listen closely, seeing you triggered realization, not jealousy, not competition, but awareness, the kind that makes someone rethink what they let slip away. And don't scroll, because while they laughed with friends, inside they were replaying your face, your walk, your presence, trying to understand why it affected them so deeply. And your heart needs this right now because you didn't glow up just for attention, you glowed up because your soul was healing, because you chose yourself, because you stopped shrinking to fit old versions of love. And listen to this, that inner work radiates outward. And people feel it even when you say nothing. And don't scroll, because this is part of your spiritual awakening, the phase where your energy begins speaking louder than your past, and your heart needs this right now because the universe is showing you that you are becoming magnetic, not by force, not by chasing, but by alignment. And listen closely, this moment planted a seed inside your soulmate's heart, a seed of curiosity, reflection, and emotional truth. And don't scroll, because seeds don't grow instantly, but when they sprout, they change landscapes. And your heart needs this right now because what they said in front of their friends was only the beginning, the surface of a deeper emotional shift happening behind the scenes. And listen to this, they may not text you yet, they may not confess immediately, but their behavior will begin to change, their attention will shift, their energy will lean toward you again. And don't scroll, because that's how soulmate connections move, subtly, spiritually, powerfully. And your heart needs this right now, because this wasn't about the dress, it was about the message your soul sent through your presence. It was about the universe reminding both of you that the connection is alive, evolving, transforming. And listen closely, this moment marked the opening of a new emotional chapter, one where truth rises, attraction deepens, and awareness expands. And don't scroll, because part 1 ends right here on purpose, right before I reveal what they said next that made their friends go quiet and changed the way they look at you forever. Stay with this energy, because now the second phase pulls the curtain back on what happened after that moment, and this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because what followed that first glance was not casual conversation, it was emotional truth surfacing in a room that wasn't prepared for it. And listen closely, when your soulmate kept talking about you, their voice changed, not louder, not softer, but deeper, more intentional, carrying weight. And don't scroll, because their friends noticed it too, the pause, the shift in tone, the seriousness that didn't match playful chatter. And your heart needs this right now, because that change revealed something they've been holding inside for a long time, something they never planned to admit out loud. And listen to this, they didn't just compliment you, they spoke about your strength, your kindness, your resilience, the way you carry yourself now, the way you don't beg for attention, the way you stand in your own power. And don't scroll, because hearing your name triggered emotions they thought were buried. And your heart needs this right now, because this wasn't about impressing friends, it was about releasing truth that had been building silently. And listen closely, one of them asked why they were so focused on you, and that question opened a door they couldn't close. And don't scroll, because that's when honesty slipped out, the kind that surprises even the person speaking it. And your heart needs this right now, because they admitted they still think about you, that your energy stays with them, that seeing you stirred something they tried to ignore. And listen to this, that admission wasn't planned, it came from the heart, not the mind. And don't scroll, because spontaneous truth is powerful. And your heart needs this right now, because the universe created that moment on purpose, placing the right people in the room, creating the right emotional conditions, guiding this release. And listen closely, this is how divine timing works, quietly orchestrating emotional breakthroughs without drama, without force, without chaos. And don't scroll, because this moment created ripple effects. And your heart needs this right now, because after that conversation, your soulmate didn't feel the same. Something shifted inside them, a realization that they can't keep pretending nothing is there, that they can't keep avoiding emotional responsibility. And listen to this, awareness changes behavior. And don't scroll, because behavior is about to change. And your heart needs this right now, because your energy sparked this awakening, not by trying, not by reaching out, but by becoming aligned with yourself. And listen closely, this is what happens when you glow from within. People start noticing not just how you look, but how you feel to be around. And don't scroll, because your soulmate felt that energy even after you left the room, replaying the moment, thinking about what it meant, questioning why it affected them so deeply. And your heart needs this right now, because this is the stage where emotional reflection begins. And listen to this, reflection leads to decision, and decision leads to action. And don't scroll, because action is approaching, even if you can't see it yet. and your heart needs this right now because the universe is aligning circumstances behind the scenes, creating openings for communication, opportunities for connection, moments where paths cross again. And listen closely, you may start noticing subtle signs, unexpected thoughts about them, dreams where they appear, repeated songs that remind you of them, and don't scroll, because those are energetic signals that both of you are thinking about each other at the same time, and your heart needs this right now because angel numbers may increase during this phase, especially numbers connected to relationships and transformation, signaling emotional movement. And listen to this, if you've been seeing 333 or 777, that's connected to communication and soul growth, and don't scroll, because this moment is part of your spiritual awakening, teaching you that connection doesn't always move through words, sometimes it moves through energy, timing, and subtle shifts. And your heart needs this right now because you're learning to trust the process instead of forcing outcomes. And listen closely, forcing creates resistance, while alignment creates flow. And don't scroll, because flow is building now, and your heart needs this right now because this isn't about chasing your soulmate, it's about allowing them to come toward you naturally, guided by their own emotional awakening. And listen to this, your role right now is to stay grounded, calm, confident, and aligned with your growth, because that's what keeps the energy moving in your favor. And don't scroll, because your energy is being observed, felt, and responded to, even when no messages have been sent yet, and your heart needs this right now because silence doesn't mean nothing is happening, it often means something is forming. And listen closely, this is the quiet build-up before a shift, the pause before movement, the calm before emotional truth steps forward. And don't scroll, because part 2 ends right here on purpose, right before I reveal how this conversation influenced their next move and what it means for your soulmate connection moving forward. Stay anchored in this unfolding moment, because the 4th phase now arrives at the point of emotional confrontation and soul-level recognition, where everything that has been building beneath the surface begins demanding honesty. And this message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because this is where truth steps out of hiding and asks to be acknowledged. And listen closely, you may notice a sudden shift in atmosphere between you and your soulmate, a feeling that something important is about to be said, a pause that feels heavier than silence, a look that carries more meaning than words. And don't scroll, because these subtle cues are invitations for deeper connection, and your heart needs this right now because this stage is about clarity replacing confusion. And listen to this, your soulmate may start opening up emotionally in ways that feel unfamiliar, sharing thoughts they once avoided, expressing feelings they kept guarded, or admitting uncertainty about their own choices. And don't scroll, because vulnerability requires courage, and courage signals growth, and your heart needs this right now because growth transforms relationships, shifting them from surface-level interaction into something more authentic. And listen closely, you may also feel prompted to speak your truth, not with accusation, not with emotional weight, but with calm honesty, expressing how you feel without fear of rejection. And don't scroll, because honest expression releases emotional tension and creates space for understanding, and your heart needs this right now because holding everything inside only delays healing. And listen to this, when both sides begin communicating openly, even imperfectly, energy changes, heaviness lifts, and the connection becomes clearer. And don't scroll, because clarity is powerful. And your heart needs this right now because clarity allows you to see the situation as it truly is, not through hope, not through fear, but through awareness. And listen closely, during this phase, you may also experience emotional triggers rising, old memories resurfacing, or past wounds being touched. And don't scroll, because this is part of the healing process, and your heart needs this right now, because healing doesn't mean avoiding pain, it means allowing it to move through you without control. And listen to this, when emotions surface, you are given the opportunity to respond differently than before, choosing understanding instead of reaction, compassion instead of blame, and patience instead of avoidance. And don't scroll, because these new responses create new outcomes, and your heart needs this right now, because patterns only change when behavior changes. And listen closely, your soulmate may struggle during this phase, feeling torn between comfort and growth, familiarity and transformation. And don't scroll, because inner conflict often appears right before major breakthroughs, and your heart needs this right now. Because breakthroughs require discomfort before clarity arrives. And listen to this, you may sense moments of emotional intensity, where energy feels heightened, where conversations carry weight, where silence feels charged. And don't scroll, because intensity signals importance, and your heart needs this right now, because important moments shape future direction. And listen closely, you are being asked to remain grounded, to breathe through emotion, to hold your center even when feelings rise. And don't scroll, because grounded presence stabilizes interaction, preventing escalation and encouraging resolution. And your heart needs this right now, because stability creates safety, and safety allows truth to be shared without fear. And listen to this, during this phase, you may also feel a stronger connection to your intuition, sensing when to speak and when to pause, when to move forward and when to wait. And don't scroll, because intuition guides you through emotional complexity with wisdom, and your heart needs this right now, because wisdom prevents unnecessary pain. And listen closely, as conversations unfold or realizations occur, you may begin seeing your soulmate differently, not as an idealized version, not as a source of longing, but as a human being navigating their own growth. And don't scroll, because this perspective shift brings emotional maturity. And your heart needs this right now, because maturity allows compassion without self-sacrifice, understanding without losing boundaries, and connection without dependency. And listen to this, you may also reevaluate what you truly want from this connection, recognizing whether it aligns with your values, your emotional needs, and your future vision. And don't scroll, because evaluation is empowerment, and your heart needs this right now, because empowerment allows you to choose rather than settle. And listen closely, during this phase, you may notice changes in your emotional attachment, feeling less desperate for outcome, more focused on alignment and peace. And don't scroll, because this shift protects your energy, and your heart needs this right now, because peace is the foundation of healthy connection. And listen to this, as emotional honesty increases, outcomes become clearer, whether that clarity leads to renewed commitment, mutual understanding, or respectful separation. And don't scroll, because every outcome carries purpose, and your heart needs this right now, because purpose transforms endings into beginnings. And listen closely, this phase is about resolution, not necessarily conclusion, but emotional settling, where uncertainty begins fading and direction begins forming. And don't scroll, because direction creates momentum, and your heart needs this right now, because momentum moves life forward. And listen to this, as this stage unfolds, you may feel lighter, calmer, more centered, sensing that something important has shifted within you, even if everything hasn't fully materialized yet. And don't scroll, because inner shifts always arrive before external changes, and your heart needs this right now, because trusting the process keeps your energy aligned. And listen closely, Part 4 ends here intentionally, right at the moment where emotional truth stands in the open. Because what comes next will reveal how this honesty transforms into decisive movement that reshapes the future of your soulmate connection. Stay steady as the fifth phase now moves into the stage of conscious choice and forward direction, where clarity gained through honesty begins guiding real decisions. And this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because this is where empowerment replaces uncertainty and intention becomes action. And listen closely, you may feel a shift inside that signals readiness, not rushed urgency, but grounded determination, the quiet strength that comes from knowing what you deserve and what you will no longer accept. And don't scroll, because this inner certainty is powerful. And your heart needs this right now because it marks the moment where you stop waiting for others to decide your future and begin shaping it yourself. And listen to this, during this phase you may choose to set boundaries that protect your peace, expressing needs clearly, limiting emotional overextension, and prioritizing your well-being without guilt. And don't scroll, because boundaries are not barriers. They are guides that show others how to treat you, and your heart needs this right now because healthy limits attract respect, and respect builds balanced connection. And listen closely, you may also feel motivated to redirect energy toward personal goals, creative projects, or professional development, investing in yourself rather than placing all focus on relationship outcomes. And don't scroll, because self-investment strengthens confidence, and confidence changes how you approach interactions, allowing you to communicate with calm authority instead of emotional dependency. And your heart needs this right now because authority over your own life is empowering. And listen to this, empowerment creates independence, and independence allows love to exist without fear, attachment, or control. And don't scroll, because control once created tension, while independence creates freedom. And your heart needs this right now because freedom supports authentic connection. And listen closely, during this phase you may notice improved emotional regulation, the ability to process feelings without becoming overwhelmed, choosing thoughtful responses over impulsive reactions. And don't scroll, because this emotional maturity transforms communication, creating understanding instead of conflict. And your heart needs this right now because understanding builds trust, and trust allows vulnerability to exist safely. And listen to this, as you continue choosing alignment, you may feel drawn to simplify your emotional environment, letting go of unnecessary drama, mental clutter, and negative influences, creating space for clarity and peace. And don't scroll, because simplicity supports balance, and balance enhances stability, and stability attracts reliability, and reliability supports lasting fulfillment. And your heart needs this right now because fulfillment comes from alignment, not from chasing validation. And listen closely, during this phase you may also reevaluate your long-term vision, setting goals that reflect your values, emotional needs, and desire for meaningful connection. And don't scroll, because vision guides action, and action shapes reality. And your heart needs this right now because shaping your reality intentionally creates purpose. And listen to this, you may experience moments of courage, choosing to speak your truth, walk away from unhealthy patterns, or pursue opportunities that once felt intimidating. And don't scroll, because courage is the bridge between intention and achievement. And your heart needs this right now because achievement builds self-belief, and self-belief strengthens resilience, and resilience allows you to face challenges with confidence. And listen closely, during this phase you may also notice a stronger connection to your intuition, sensing which choices align with your growth and which lead back to old cycles. And don't scroll, because intuition protects you from repeating past mistakes. And your heart needs this right now because growth requires awareness, and awareness leads to wisdom, and wisdom guides decisions with clarity. And listen to this, as clarity increases, you may feel less attached to specific outcomes, more focused on peace and alignment. And don't scroll, because detachment is not indifference, it is freedom from fear, and your heart needs this right now because fear once controlled reactions, while freedom allows conscious choice. And listen closely, during this stage you may also experience improved self-respect, treating yourself with kindness, honoring your needs, and celebrating progress without minimizing your effort. And don't scroll, because self-respect changes how others treat you, and your heart needs this right now because treatment reflects standards, and standards shape experience. And listen to this, as you continue honoring yourself, you may attract people and opportunities that mirror your growth, relationships that feel supportive, environments that feel nourishing, and experiences that align with your values. And don't scroll, because alignment brings fulfillment, and your heart needs this right now because fulfillment supports long-term happiness. And listen closely, during this phase you may feel a sense of readiness to step into the next chapter of your life, whether that involves renewed connection, emotional closure, or fresh beginnings that reflect your evolution. And don't scroll, because readiness signals completion of a lesson, and your heart needs this right now because completion allows progression. And listen to this, part 5 ends here intentionally, right as conscious choice becomes active and direction becomes clear, because what comes next will reveal how these decisions manifest into tangible change that reshapes your soulmate journey and your personal path forward. Stay steady as the 5th phase now moves into the stage of conscious choice and forward direction, where clarity gained through honesty begins guiding real decisions. And this message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because this is where empowerment replaces uncertainty and intention becomes action. And listen closely, you may feel a shift inside that signals readiness, not rushed urgency, but grounded determination. The quiet strength that comes from knowing what you deserve and what you will no longer accept. And don't scroll, because this inner certainty is powerful, and your heart needs this right now because it marks the moment where you stop waiting for others to decide your future and begin shaping it yourself. And listen to this, during this phase you may choose to set boundaries that protect your peace, expressing needs clearly, limiting emotional overextension, and prioritizing your well-being without guilt. And don't scroll, because boundaries are not barriers, they are guides that show others how to treat you. And your heart needs this right now because healthy limits attract respect, and respect builds balanced connection. And listen closely, you may also feel motivated to redirect energy toward personal goals, creative projects, or professional development, investing in yourself rather than placing all focus on relationship outcomes. And don't scroll, because self-investment strengthens confidence, and confidence changes how you approach interactions, allowing you to communicate with calm authority instead of emotional dependency. And your heart needs this right now because authority over your own life is empowering. And listen to this, empowerment creates independence, and independence allows love to exist without fear, attachment, or control. And don't scroll, because control once created tension, while independence creates freedom. And your heart needs this right now because freedom supports authentic connection. And listen closely, during this phase you may notice improved emotional regulation, the ability to process feelings without becoming overwhelmed, choosing thoughtful responses over impulsive reactions. And don't scroll, because this emotional maturity transforms communication, creating understanding instead of conflict. And your heart needs this right now because understanding builds trust, and trust allows vulnerability to exist safely. and listen to this. As you continue choosing alignment, you may feel drawn to simplify your emotional environment, letting go of unnecessary drama, mental clutter, and negative influences, creating space for clarity and peace. And don't scroll, because simplicity supports balance, and balance enhances stability, and stability attracts reliability, and reliability supports lasting fulfillment. And your heart needs this right now, because fulfillment comes from alignment, not from chasing validation. And listen closely. During this phase you may also reevaluate your long-term vision, setting goals that reflect your values, emotional needs, and desire for meaningful connection. And don't scroll, because vision guides action, and action shapes reality. And your heart needs this right now, because shaping your reality intentionally creates purpose. And listen to this. You may experience moments of courage, choosing to speak your truth, walk away from unhealthy patterns, or pursue opportunities that once felt intimidating. And don't scroll, because courage is the bridge between intention and achievement. And your heart needs this right now, because achievement builds self-belief, and self-belief strengthens resilience, and resilience allows you to face challenges with confidence. And listen closely. During this phase you may also notice a stronger connection to your intuition, sensing which choices align with your growth and which lead back to old cycles. And don't scroll, because intuition protects you from repeating past mistakes. And your heart needs this right now, because growth requires awareness, and awareness leads to wisdom, and wisdom guides decisions with clarity. And listen to this. As clarity increases, you may feel less attached to specific outcomes, more focused on peace and alignment. And don't scroll, because detachment is not indifference, it is freedom from fear. And your heart needs this right now, because fear once controlled reactions, while freedom allows conscious choice. And listen closely. During this stage you may also experience improved self-respect, treating yourself with kindness, honoring your needs, and celebrating progress without minimizing your effort. And don't scroll, because self-respect changes how others treat you. And your heart needs this right now, because treatment reflects standards, and standards shape experience. And listen to this. As you continue honoring yourself, you may attract people and opportunities that mirror your growth, relationships that feel supportive, environments that feel nourishing, and experiences that align with your values. And don't scroll, because alignment brings fulfillment. And your heart needs this right now, because fulfillment supports long-term happiness. And listen closely. During this phase you may feel a sense of readiness to step into the next chapter of your life, whether that involves renewed connection, emotional closure, or fresh beginnings that reflect your evolution. And don't scroll, because readiness signals completion of a lesson. And your heart needs this right now, because completion allows progression. And listen to this. Part 5 ends here intentionally. Right as conscious choice becomes active and direction becomes clear, because what comes next will reveal how these decisions manifest into tangible change that reshapes your soulmate journey and your personal path forward. Remain grounded as the 6th phase now enters the stage of visible transformation, where choices you made internally begin shaping experiences you can actually witness. And this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because this is the point where alignment becomes tangible and progress shows itself through subtle yet powerful shifts. And listen closely. You may begin noticing smoother timing in your daily life, conversations unfolding with ease, opportunities appearing without struggle, and emotional tension dissolving naturally. And don't scroll, because these changes are not random. They are reflections of your inner recalibration, showing that your energy is now matching the reality you want to create. and your heart needs this right now because this phase proves that growth is real, not imagined, not temporary, but rooted in consistent effort and emotional honesty. And listen to this. Your soulmate connection may also begin reflecting this shift through altered dynamics, more respectful communication, calmer interactions, or increased emotional awareness. And don't scroll, because when one person evolves, the entire relational pattern adjusts to meet the new standard, and your heart needs this right now because this adjustment creates space for healthier interaction, whether that means rebuilding with stronger foundations or releasing with peace. And listen closely. During this phase you may feel more confident navigating emotional situations. Choosing thoughtful words, maintaining composure, and responding with intention rather than impulse. And don't scroll, because this emotional steadiness communicates strength, not control, warmth without attachment, and stability without distance. And your heart needs this right now because stability attracts respect, and respect encourages balanced connection, and balanced connection supports emotional safety. And listen to this. Emotional safety allows honesty to exist without fear. Encouraging authentic expression from both sides. And don't scroll, because authenticity builds trust, and trust supports long-term fulfillment. And your heart needs this right now because fulfillment is no longer something you chase, it becomes something you cultivate through daily choices. And listen closely. You may also notice momentum growing in other areas of your life, such as professional progress, creative inspiration, or personal development. And don't scroll, because emotional alignment affects every area of life, not just relationships. And your heart needs this right now because when inner resistance fades, energy flows freely, supporting productivity, motivation, and enthusiasm. And listen to this. As energy flows, you may feel more motivated to pursue goals, complete projects, and explore interests that once felt overwhelming. And don't scroll, because progress fuels confidence. And confidence reshapes identity, and identity influences decisions, and decisions shape future outcomes. And your heart needs this right now because you are becoming someone who leads their life intentionally rather than reacting to circumstances. And listen closely. During this stage you may also experience improved emotional resilience, handling disappointment, uncertainty, or unexpected changes with grace instead of collapse. And don't scroll, because resilience demonstrates maturity. And maturity allows you to remain centered even during challenge. And your heart needs this right now because centered energy attracts stability, and stability invites reliability, and reliability supports meaningful connection. And listen to this. As you continue navigating this phase, you may feel more open to exploration, creativity, and new experiences, allowing curiosity to guide you instead of fear. And don't scroll, because curiosity encourages learning, and learning fosters expansion. And expansion broadens emotional intelligence, and emotional intelligence improves interaction quality, and quality interactions build satisfying relationships. And your heart needs this right now because satisfaction enhances well-being, and well-being influences how you show up in every environment. And listen closely. During this phase you may also reflect on how far you've come, noticing changes in your mindset, reactions, and priorities. And don't scroll, because acknowledging progress reinforces self-belief, and self-belief fuels continued growth. And your heart needs this right now because belief empowers action, and action creates achievement, and achievement builds confidence, and confidence attracts opportunities aligned with your evolution. And listen to this. You may also feel a stronger connection to your intuition, sensing when to advance and when to pause, when to speak and when to remain silent. And don't scroll, because intuitive awareness guides you through emotional complexity with clarity. And your heart needs this right now because clarity prevents unnecessary conflict and supports peaceful resolution. And listen closely. As clarity increases, you may simplify priorities, choosing meaning over distraction, depth over surface interaction, and purpose over temporary excitement. And don't scroll, because simplification creates balance, and balance strengthens emotional health, and emotional health improves capacity for connection. And your heart needs this right now because connection becomes more fulfilling when it's grounded in mutual respect and understanding. And listen to this. During this stage your soulmate may respond to your stability by showing greater emotional responsibility, thoughtful behavior, or honest communication. And don't scroll, because this response reflects mutual growth, even if outcomes differ. And your heart needs this right now because mutual growth opens pathways for either renewal or peaceful separation, both of which serve evolution. And listen closely. Renewal brings opportunity to build something stronger, while separation allows redirection toward experiences that align better with your values. And don't scroll, because both paths lead forward, not backward. And your heart needs this right now because forward movement creates hope, and hope motivates continued effort, and effort leads to progress, and progress shapes destiny. And listen to this. As this phase continues unfolding, you may feel calm optimism about the future, not anxious anticipation, but steady confidence that your life is expanding beyond old limitations. And don't scroll, because this optimism is grounded in self-trust, and your heart needs this right now because self-trust allows you to relax into the present moment, knowing that you can handle whatever comes next. And listen closely. You may also experience increased compassion toward yourself and others, understanding that everyone grows at different speeds. And don't scroll, because compassion softens judgment, allowing forgiveness and acceptance to replace resentment. And your heart needs this right now because emotional freedom creates space for joy, and joy improves quality of life, and quality of life reflects inner harmony, and harmony attracts supportive experiences. And listen to this. As this phase nears completion, you may sense a quiet certainty settling within, the knowing that you are aligned with your purpose, that your choices reflect growth, and that what unfolds next will support your highest good. And don't scroll, because this certainty allows you to move forward without fear, trusting the journey instead of resisting it. And your heart needs this right now because trust stabilizes emotion and strengthens resilience. And listen closely. Part 6 ends here intentionally, right as manifestation becomes visible and alignment shapes reality. Because what follows will reveal how this progress leads into emotional resolution and long-term direction for your soulmate path and personal evolution. Stay anchored in this moment, because the 7th phase now arrives at the point of emotional settlement and soul-level alignment, where everything you've learned, experienced, and integrated begins forming a clear direction forward. And this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because this is where confusion fades and understanding takes its place. And listen closely. You may start sensing a shift inside that feels calm yet powerful, like a quiet certainty rising from within, telling you that you no longer need to chase clarity because clarity is finding you. And don't scroll, because this inner stability is the result of growth, not luck. And your heart needs this right now because stability allows you to make decisions from wisdom instead of fear. And listen to this. During this phase you may experience a defining moment, sometimes subtle, sometimes emotional, but always meaningful, such as a conversation that brings honesty, an action that reveals truth, or a realization that reshapes how you view your soulmate connection. And don't scroll, because these moments carry destiny energy, guiding you toward the next chapter of your journey, and your heart needs this right now because this stage is about emotional resolution, not necessarily endings, but clarity that allows movement without emotional weight. And listen closely, you may notice that lingering questions begin dissolving, that emotional tension softens, and that your mind feels quieter. And don't scroll, because peace of mind is a sign that alignment is happening, and your heart needs this right now because alignment creates harmony between thought, feeling, and action. And listen to this, your soulmate may also reveal their true position through consistency, honesty, or emotional maturity. And don't scroll, because actions speak louder than words during this phase, and your heart needs this right now because behavior reflects intention, and intention shapes future outcomes. And listen closely, you may find yourself responding differently than before, choosing patience instead of impulse, calm instead of defensiveness, and clarity instead of avoidance. And don't scroll, because these responses demonstrate emotional intelligence, and your heart needs this right now because emotional intelligence transforms connection dynamics, inviting respect and understanding rather than chaos. And listen to this. As respect grows, interactions feel safer, more grounded, and more authentic, allowing vulnerability to exist without fear of judgment. And don't scroll, because vulnerability builds deeper bonds when supported by stability, and your heart needs this right now because deeper bonds create satisfaction, and satisfaction enhances well-being, and well-being influences every area of life. And listen closely. During this phase you may also redefine your expectations around love and partnership, moving away from fantasy toward reality, from intensity toward reliability, and from emotional highs toward steady connection. And don't scroll, because redefining expectations protects your heart from disappointment, and your heart needs this right now because realistic standards create healthier relationships. And listen to this, you may also feel inspired to focus more on your personal vision, setting goals that reflect your values, passions, and desire for meaningful growth. And don't scroll, because personal direction strengthens independence, and independence allows you to love without losing yourself, and your heart needs this right now because self-respect becomes your foundation, shaping how others treat you and how you allow yourself to be treated. And listen closely, as self-respect increases, you may attract people and opportunities that align with your emotional maturity, creating environments that feel supportive instead of draining. And don't scroll, because environment influences mindset, and mindset shapes experience. And your heart needs this right now because positive surroundings encourage continued growth. And listen to this, during this stage you may experience a sense of inner completion, the feeling that a lesson has been learned, that emotional baggage has been released, and that wisdom has replaced confusion. And don't scroll, because completion allows progression, and your heart needs this right now because progression opens doors to new beginnings. And listen closely, you may also feel less reactive to external circumstances, more centered within yourself, and more capable of handling challenges with grace. And don't scroll, because grace under pressure is a sign of emotional mastery, and your heart needs this right now because mastery creates confidence, and confidence attracts respect, and respect supports balanced relationships, and balanced relationships bring fulfillment, and fulfillment reinforces optimism, and optimism fuels motivation, and motivation drives action, and action leads to achievement, and achievement builds self-belief, and self-belief empowers future choices. And listen to this, as this phase unfolds, you may also notice your intuition becoming stronger, guiding you toward decisions that align with your growth. And don't scroll, because intuition is your internal compass, helping you navigate uncertainty with clarity. And your heart needs this right now because clarity reduces anxiety and replaces it with calm assurance. And listen closely, during this stage. You may also feel more compassionate toward yourself and others, understanding that everyone is evolving at their own pace, and don't scroll, because compassion softens emotional edges, allowing forgiveness to replace resentment. And your heart needs this right now because forgiveness frees energy that was once tied to the past. And listen to this, freed energy creates space for joy, creativity, and new experiences. And don't scroll, because joy elevates your emotional state, and your heart needs this right now because elevated emotion attracts positive outcomes. And listen closely, as this phase reaches its peak, you may experience a moment of deep realization, recognizing that delays were protection, obstacles were preparation, and challenges were teachers shaping your strength. And don't scroll, because this realization brings peace. And your heart needs this right now because peace allows you to relax into the present moment, trusting that you are exactly where you need to be. And listen to this. You may also feel a sense of readiness to step into what comes next, whether that involves deeper connection, emotional closure, or fresh opportunities that align with your growth. And don't scroll, because readiness signals transformation is complete, and your heart needs this right now because completion marks the beginning of a new cycle. And listen closely, part 7 ends here intentionally. Right as emotional alignment stabilizes and direction becomes clear, because what comes next will reveal how this settled energy expands into long-term fulfillment and purposeful living within your soulmate journey and beyond. Remain open and breathe into this final expansion, because the 8th phase now rises into the chapter of integration and purposeful forward motion, where everything you learned, healed, and reshaped becomes the foundation for a new emotional reality. And this message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because you are no longer standing in transition, you are stepping into embodiment, living the growth instead of just talking about it. And listen closely, you may notice your mornings feel calmer, your thoughts clearer, your reactions softer, not because life suddenly became easy, but because you became stronger on the inside. And don't scroll, because this inner strength is magnetic, it reshapes how the world responds to you, how people approach you, and how opportunities unfold. And your heart needs this right now because you are beginning to carry yourself with quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation, doesn't beg for approval, and doesn't chase attention. And listen to this, that presence changes rooms, shifts conversations, and attracts alignment without effort. And don't scroll, because this stage is about living in harmony with your values, choosing actions that support peace, direction, and self-respect. And your heart needs this right now because your choices are becoming intentional, guided by awareness instead of habit, by purpose instead of impulse. And listen closely. You may feel inspired to create new routines, healthier rhythms, or meaningful projects that express who you truly are becoming. And don't scroll, because creation energy signals expansion, and expansion leads to fulfillment, and fulfillment strengthens self-belief, and self-belief reshapes future outcomes. And your heart needs this right now because confidence grows when effort meets alignment. And listen to this, you may also notice relationships shifting around you, some deepening through mutual respect, others gently fading because they no longer match your frequency. And don't scroll, because release creates space, and space invites better connection. And your heart needs this right now because you are learning to choose companionship that nourishes rather than drains, conversations that inspire rather than confuse, and environments that support rather than limit. And listen closely, During this phase your intuition becomes sharper, guiding you toward decisions that reflect your growth, helping you recognize when to move forward and when to pause. And don't scroll, because inner guidance becomes louder when emotional noise quiets, and your heart needs this right now because clarity protects your energy and preserves balance. And listen to this, you may feel drawn toward learning, exploration, or creative expression, expanding your world beyond familiar patterns. And don't scroll, because curiosity fuels evolution, and evolution strengthens emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence improves interaction quality, and quality. Interactions build meaningful bonds, and your heart needs this right now because meaningful bonds enhance life satisfaction. And listen closely, as satisfaction increases, you may notice reduced attachment to outcomes, less anxiety about timing, and greater trust in the process. And don't scroll, because trust frees mental space, allowing peace to settle deeper into your daily experience. And your heart needs this right now because peace strengthens resilience, and resilience allows you to navigate challenges with composure. And listen to this, during this phase you may also redefine success, shifting focus from external validation toward inner fulfillment, emotional stability, and purposeful contribution. And don't scroll, because redefining success aligns ambition with well-being, and your heart needs this right now because balance creates sustainable growth, not burnout, not exhaustion, not emotional depletion. And listen closely, you may feel motivated to give back, support others, share wisdom, or lead through example. And don't scroll, because leadership begins with self-mastery, and self-mastery builds credibility, and credibility attracts respect, and respect fosters meaningful collaboration. And your heart needs this right now because collaboration multiplies impact. And listen to this, as your life becomes more intentional, you may also experience moments of gratitude, reflecting on how far you've come, recognizing the courage it took to face discomfort, the patience required to heal, and the strength needed to keep moving forward. And don't scroll, because gratitude amplifies emotional abundance, and your heart needs this right now because abundance attracts supportive experiences, aligned opportunities, and fulfilling connections. And listen closely, during this stage you may notice increased emotional regulation, responding thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively, choosing understanding instead of conflict, and compassion instead of judgment. And don't scroll, because emotional maturity transforms relationships, creating safety and stability. And your heart needs this right now because safety allows authenticity to flourish, and authenticity builds trust, and trust deepens connection. And listen to this, you may also feel a renewed sense of purpose, the desire to build something meaningful, whether in love, career, or personal growth. And don't scroll, because purpose fuels motivation, and motivation supports consistent action, and consistent action creates progress, and progress builds momentum, and momentum transforms dreams into reality. And your heart needs this right now because you are stepping into your power, not through force, but through alignment. And listen closely, as this phase continues, you may experience a sense of wholeness, the feeling that fragmented parts of yourself have come back together, that healing has integrated into wisdom. And that awareness now guides your decisions. And don't scroll, because wholeness allows you to love without fear, to connect without losing yourself, and to move forward without emotional baggage. And your heart needs this right now because freedom is the true gift of growth. And listen to this, you may also feel prepared for whatever comes next, whether that includes deepening connection with your soulmate, opening your heart to new possibilities, or embracing fresh beginnings aligned with your evolution. And don't scroll, because readiness signals completion of a cycle, and your heart needs this right now because completion creates space for new chapters. And listen closely, as this stage reaches its close, you may sense calm assurance settling within, the quiet knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, guided by alignment, intuition, and inner strength. And don't scroll, because this assurance allows you to trust life again, to move forward with openness instead of fear. And your heart needs this right now because this is the integration stage, where growth becomes lifestyle, awareness becomes habit, and your soulmate journey transforms into a broader path of purpose, fulfillment, and emotional freedom.